Afternoon folks, and welcome back to the channel. So as you can see, today we are back in the ALCHEMOTO workshop, and we're all geared up ready for doing a little bit of painting. So as you can see, we've moved a little bit further with the cb400t Dream tank from 1978. Spent a lot of time prepping this and we're finally ready to lay a little bit of paint on. So we'll go into a little bit more depth with how we've achieved it to get to this stage so far, straight after the intro. Okay, so this tank first started off, again, if you have checked back in the back catalogue, there's a couple of videos on this tank for when it came in from the customer. It had dents all over it and about 15 layers of paint over the years, and it was quite in a very untidy state. So what we've had to do is completely strip all those years and years of paint off and take it back to the bare metal to see what horrors lied underneath. So of course the main one was on the other side, we'll bring you back over in a minute, where we had to weld a piece in because it was perforated. It had probably had some moisture lying on this side of the tank inside over the years, and it just wasn't ethical to repair without cutting the section out, so that's what we had to do. So on this side of the tank, from round about here and up, is where we had to weld a new piece in and get the shape back with as little preparation and filler over that as possible. So now we've spent a good few hours now just putting the skim. You can see how we've got maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 different skims just to get that shape back and get the feel and the profile exactly matching the other side of the tank. Now it's not took a lot to do that, but it's still a lot of prep work to get that exactly how you want it without feeling any undulations in the steel work, and so you're happy with the finish once the paint's on. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to lay probably a couple of coats of a primer filler over there in white, which will stay as the primer coat for the top coat on this tank. The main colour is the original it's got a slight pearl in it, which is a maroonish red colour from 1978. It's the original colour for this tank, and so the base coat will be white on it. So we thought, well, we might as well put the primer filler on, and then we can sand that down smooth, you know, like a baby's ass, then ready for the top coat to go on the tank. So we've got that to do, and we've got the side panels to do as well. So we've got to we've prepped those up, so these we've got to have the primer on as well, and then the whole lot sanded down before we lay the top coat on. But first of all, we'll get going with the primer, which is a 2K primer, which is mixed 4:1 with the hardener, and then a little bit of reducer in just to give it the viscosity we need to go through the gun. So we're going to go ahead, mix that paint first, and then get some primer on this tank. Stay with me. Okay, so my mix for this, it's 1 part hardener to 4 parts paint, and then 1 part of reducer, or thinner in this case. So while we're putting these layers on, obviously we're going to have the extractor fan on and the compressor on, so that's going to create a bit of noise. So we'll put this in the gun and treat you to a nice little bit of background music while we lay these coats on. So while I do the hard work, you guys just sit back and enjoy. Okay, still a little bit of paint residue in the air, but the fans took most of it out. So we've put 2 coats now of primer filler on our panels. We've done the tank, we've done the side panels, and we've done the top fuel cap, which goes on top of the tank. What this enabled me to do, that's actually the 3rd coat on the panels there, but the 2nd coat on the tank, we've let that go off now for 25 minutes. We've had the heater on, got the temperature up to about 70 degrees in here, and then we've flattened down the tank. So we've flattened down the tank, probably about 1/800 grit paper, and what that's done is we've got the sheen on there over the primer, and it's highlighted slight little bits in. So these little grey bits here is just a stopper now, just to highlight any of the bits that we're not happy with, little undulations, and there's not many of them. So with just these little tiny bits here, we've got a scrape in there, one little bit on the top, then on the back side where the major repair was, that is okay. We're quite happy with that, and the top there, absolutely fantastic. This side here only had a slight dent in here, which we pulled out a while ago, and then what's happened is it's highlighted now a tiny little dent around about here once we've put the paint on. Now I didn't even know that was there when it was down on bare steel. I had my hands all over it, you couldn't feel any undulations. We've done the satin black trick, which highlights any low spots in the paint, but when we put the white on and the sheen down, it just highlighted a slight little undulation, and that's what that one is there. So really we've just got to let that go off a little bit harder, take these down with some sort of 800s, 600s and 800s, flat that down again, and then do 2 more coats and then flat that down, and then she is ready then for the top coat. So the plastic panels, they take a little bit more work before we're ready with them, but we're so close now for putting the final coat on. So what I'll do is we'll just let this go off, put a little bit of music on, flat these down, and then we're ready for the top coat, guys. So I'll see you in a bit. For quite a while now, so this is the stage we're up to. We've gone over about 3 coats of primer now. We've flattened them down. Any indentations or anything we've found, we put a bit of stopper over them, and so that is completely flat now. We've got a panel on the top ready to paint, so we're going to mix the paint up now, put a bit of top coat on after I've had a cup of coffee, that is. So we'll get some colour on before we finish off the evening, because it's starting to get dark outside now and I'm getting hungry, so I need to get this colour on here before I pack up for the evening. Okay, so this is an absolute beautiful colour. It's a glazurite Honda Antares red mica, so there's a touch of pearl in this. Probably bad light in here at the moment, but absolute gorgeous colour. So I'm going to mix this up, get it in the gun and lay it on the tank. Okay, so that about wraps it up for today. We've got the colour on, and so I'm about ready for some food now and a nice cup of coffee. So we've still got one panel that I wasn't happy with before, one side panel that's got to be resanded, reprimed and then top coated. But what we're going to do is just fettle up a little bit of this so everything's ready then for the water decals, the slide decals that go on before the top coat goes on these. So we won't show you the final prep on the last panel, but the next vlog for this tank will be once we've put the water slide decals, and then we're going to clear coat over them with a show clear. So look forward to that one. There'll be a couple of things in between that, I'm sure, and we've still got some work to do on the 48, which is still under wraps now, obviously, while we've got the paintwork going on in here. We've still got to take the back wheel off, check the pulley bearings and things like that. So we've got a lot of mechanical work to go on the 48 still, ready for next season, but we're still going to ride through the season as well. So as far as we're concerned, obviously today's vlog was about the Honda tank, and as you can see, it's looking pretty beautiful in that it's a pearl mica deep red. So of course now it's flat colour, it's a base coat, so that shine is going to slowly just go to a satin sheen now, but when the clear coat's on, that will really pop. So I'm looking forward to when I get that on as well, because it's going to really make this tank sing. But until then folks, thanks for watching this. Finally we've got the colour on the Honda tank, customer's getting happy, and we'll tell you who that customer is when he comes to help me put the decals on. That's the reveal. So until then, we'll see you next time. ALCHEMOTO signing out.